So now in order to handle the form submission, we now need to go ahead and go into the views, and in here we need to check if we get a post request. So right now if we have a look at our form, whenever we submit this form, we should actually get a post request. And for that specific reason, you always need to go ahead and actually make a method type over here inside your form. So you need to mention the method as post, so that whenever you actually hit the submit button on your form, we actually get a post request. So now once you go ahead and do that, now you can handle the post request up over here inside your views.py file. So in order to accept or basically handle the post request, first of all you need to make sure that if the request is post. So whenever you actually just request this web page, which is the home page, that's not actually a post request, but the post request is when you actually submit this form. So whenever that happens, you actually want to get all the details from these respective fields and you need to submit them to the database. So doing that is quite simple. You make use of this request over here and see if the request is a post request. So you say something like if request dot method. So post is actually a method, so we'll say if that method is equal to post, then we want to perform a set of actions, and that set of actions is nothing but to get all the details which are actually submitted to this form right here in the respective input fields and the text area. So now in order to get those fields, you simply type in the field name, which is name in this case for the first field, and I'll type in request dot. Then you mention the method which is post, and then to get the data of that respective field you type in get, and then you again specify the field name over here and have the by default value over here. So for now we are going to leave that thing as empty, and you need to do the same thing for all the fields over here. So let me quickly go ahead and do the same thing for almost all fields which we have. So we have 9 fields over here. So I'll simply go ahead and copy and paste this thing for 8 more times over here. And now let's go ahead and modify each one of them one by one. So this is going to be email. Let me change this to email as well. This is phone. This is going to be phone. The next one is summary. This one is going to be summary. Then we have degree. Then we have school. Then we have the university. Then we have the previous role. And let's change this thing to previous underscore role as well. And the final one is skills. And now once we have these particular details, we go ahead and create a object over here of the model which is profile. So in order to create an object of the profile model, we simply need to go ahead and type in profile equals, and then type in profile, which is actually the model name, and in here you simply need to submit all the details. So I'll type in name equals name, email equals email, then we have phone equals phone, then summary equals summary, then we have degree equals degree, then we have school equals school, then we have university equals university, then we have previous role equals previous role, and let's see if some field is not left out. And the final field is actually skills, so let's also pass that as well. So I'll say skills equals skills. So this means that you have simply created an object over here of the class or the model profile. So now once you have to save this data into the database, you simply go ahead and save this specific model. So you can type in profile.save, and that's actually simply going to go ahead and save the data into the backend into your database. And now once we go ahead and have this specific thing, we can now go ahead and try posting the data and see if this thing is actually posted. So let's go ahead, save the code. And I guess the server is not running. And yeah, we do actually have a small error over here. So this should actually be a comparison operator, which is double equal to and not a assignment operator. So once we go ahead, fix that, we are pretty much good to go. So let's hit refresh. Let's type in my name here. Let's type in some dummy email. So dummy@dummy.com. Let's type in some random phone number. Let's type in some random about you text over here. So if you actually don't want to type in the text manually, you can simply go ahead and search for lorem ipsum, and it's actually going to give you a bunch of text, random text, which you can use to fill up your forms. So I can simply go ahead and I can just copy some of this text, random text, paste it in here, and let's say the degree is engineering, school is MIT. I'll type in some random university like XYZ University. I'll type in some previous work experience as a bunch of random text, and I'll also add the same text over here. And when I click on submit, as you can see, we actually get an error over here because we have not yet included the CSRF token in our form. So always remember that whenever you are making or creating a form, you always need to include a CSRF token inside your form to avoid the cross-site request forgery. So let's go ahead and fix that. So in here, you just need to go inside your form, which is right here, and you simply need to type in the CSRF token. So CSRF_token is what you need. Once you go ahead, hit refresh. Now let's submit the details one more time. And now when I click on submit, we again have an error, and it says that profile got an unexpected keyword argument previous role. So let's go ahead and see that as well, what actually has happened. So I'm purposely not editing out these errors so that you know how exactly you can debug your code. So now if we go to the models, we have, and I guess we might have misspelled this thing somewhere, which is why we are getting an error. So this is previous work, looks fine. Okay, so I've actually typed in previous role over here, which should actually be previous work. And let's see what do we actually have in the database. So in the database, that is in the models, we have listed this thing as previous work. In the form as well, I have typed this thing as previous work, but right over here I've said something like previous role. So let me just change this thing to previous work as well. And once you make change over here, you also go ahead and make the change over here as well. So once you fix that, everything should be working fine. So now let me just go back, hit refresh, and type in this data one more time. So now when I click submit, as you can see, the form is submitted. Now in order to see if the form is actually submitted at the backend, I can simply go ahead and type in /admin. I can go to profiles, and as you can see, if I click on profile object, we now have all of these details captured at the backend. That means we have done with the first part of building our app, that is to actually collect or gather data from the user. Now once we have collected this particular data, in the upcoming lecture we can now go ahead and simply learn how to create or render a PDF from the model. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.